she's terrible. I mean, she's had a terrible record. Everything she touches is bad. You look at what's going on with Libya, and you look at the surge, and you look at all of her decisions, and you look at the Iran deal, which is one of the dumbest deals I've ever seen, which she started. And she totally backs, by the way. I mean, in its completed form, she totally backs. You look at everything she touched. I mean, it's just a mess.
Well, Donald Trump slamming Hillary Clinton this morning on Fox and Friends, questioning whether she has the judgment to be president. Temperament is something we're going to talk about with our next guest. Among Mr. Trump's many supporters, a very important one, former Indiana basketball coach Bobby Knight campaigned hard for Trump in the primaries, played a big role in helping him win Indiana, thus clinching the Republican nomination. You can see he's our guest. Coach, great to have you on set with us.
It's nice to be here.
Are you
with
responsible for Donald Trump? He helped him clinch in Indiana.
Well, I don't want to say I'm totally responsible for St. Donald, but I'm a big supporter. I like what I see with him. I like what he stands for, and I think he's what we need. So
you've elevated him to St. Donald?
Well, in my mind, I do, you know, just to kind of let him know that
that you have some affection for him. Have you always been involved in politics?
No, well, I'll tell you, I was my major in college was history and government, and so I've always had an interest in who we should really appreciate and who we shouldn't appreciate, and my all-time favorite is Harry Truman.
Really?
Yeah.
And why is that?
Well, I think he was just he was tough. And he loved America.
So it's one thing to have an interest and even want to study a topic, but it's another thing to come off the sidelines, if you will, and actually get involved in the process. Why did you feel compelled to do so?
Well, I didn't feel compelled to do so. You know, I'm sure that you're like I am in this. We forget everything, but we love America. That's
true.
One thing we don't have a problem with is the United States of America. I've heard enough about you to know how patriotic.
That's scary.
To know how patriotic and how fair you are. So that's why I'm here.
Thank you.
But when I go back with Donald Trump, I look at everybody, this person, that person, this person, and the thing that comes from basketball, like. You played basketball,
yes.
And I think, as I understand it, you weren't too bad. Now,
well, that's nice.
I'm not sure I'd have let you shoot a lot. I'd have made you rebound here and there. But in basketball, we're getting ready to play so-and-so, and we have to figure out how to beat their press, and we have to figure out how to attack their zone. And I think for us to win, we have to be able to find ways to do so. That's where I think he just outweighs everybody.
So you're zeroing in on leadership rather than the actual politics.
No, not just. Well, yeah, you might be right about that.
Well, let me just ask you this, because you've been able to look at a team of people and lead them to victory. That's something you're known for. And I'm curious why you think Donald Trump can do the same for the country.
Well, I'm glad you asked the question, because he brings with him. See, first of all, Trump is not national, he's international. He's known all over the world. He's put businesses together here and there and elsewhere, and he's provided jobs for all kinds of people, all nationalities, everywhere. And so I say he's an international figure to begin with. Now, in all of these things he's done, and he's had a lot of problems. You know, this didn't go right, that didn't go right, but he's been able to correct those problems. He's been able to figure out a way to make this work. And that's what I think, and I've always felt this, that the most important thing in government is a guy that can make things work.
Now, I'm going to put this delicately, but you are known.
Don't worry about delicately with me now, so.
Because you are known for your temperament, certainly on the basketball court, and that's something that Donald Trump is criticized for by Hillary Clinton and others. And I'm curious what you learned over the years about that word, temperament, and what it means and how it can qualify you for a position or disqualify you.
Well, I think temperament is to be studied carefully. I think there's a time when, I'm not sure that temperament is the correct word, but there's a time when you have to speak out. There's a time when you have to say, hey, you know, I've called time out. and I've got you and my other 4 players there, and I say, we better start guarding somebody or we're going to get our butt beat real quick. And so that's temperament. That's making something plain, and I'm giving you and these other 4 kids here what we have to do to be able to win this game.
So you think temperament's appropriate in certain situations?
Well, I think in some cases. I know my mom used to get mad at me, and it really helped me.
Well,
I mean, my mother had a temperament beyond most I've ever known.
That's it. Well, you came out just fine.
Well,
let me ask you that. This is the most important question of the day. What basketball teams are you thinking are going to go all the way this year?
I have no idea. No, I don't have it. You're not going to trap me on that one. I have no. Let's get back to my man Trump.
Well, St. Donald, as you call him. It's interesting just to hear a little bit about your story, because one of the things we've talked about this year is that people that haven't been traditionally involved in politics are getting more involved because of Donald Trump, and clearly that is the case. So.
Well, I've followed it carefully. You know, I've had my own idea about this person or that person or whomever, but here I think we are in a situation where it's really important. You know, this is something. Yeah, and in my thinking, he brings with him the tools. Now,
I'm going to have to get cut off by commercial, and I hate to do that to you, but I'm going to have to go. Coach Knight, I know, look at that face. We're going to talk during commercial, though. Don't worry. We'll be right back with more happening.
I am at...
Back now with Coach Knight, talking a little bit more about politics.
Before we go further, I want to tell the public I enjoy working with you.
Well, that's now you've totally ruined my street cred on this. No, thank you. I appreciate that. One of the things we were talking about during commercial break is that you've been open to voting for a lot of different people in the past. In fact, you voted for President Obama.
Yes.
But you have a different feeling about who you're voting for this time around. Explain why.
Well, I simply think he is the best prepared person I have studied or been told about for this job right at this time. Obama went into a job that he wasn't prepared for. He didn't have the background that he was really necessary, and I think that's not his fault. That's the fault of the other people that are putting up the guy that's running for the job. But now, with Donald Trump, I'm totally convinced that this is the most prepared person to take over all of the problems that the new president is going to have, because he has been able to take problems and change them with his businesses. He's been able to turn something that doesn't look good into something very profitable, and I think that is the kind of thing that is really going to be impressive, or really going to be important for this next president to be able to do in a large way. And that's why I'm talking about Donald Trump, because I think he's the person.
Coach Knight, it's great to have you in the program. We appreciate it. We look forward to your insights in the future about politics and basketball, if I can ever get you to talk about it. So thank you.
I enjoyed it. And next time we'll spend 3 minutes on basketball.
Good. I look forward to that. Greg, we invited a representative from the Hillary Clinton campaign to come on. We welcome them at any time as well, but we thank Coach Knight today. Greg?